Hey everybody, hope it's going good for you out there. We're going to take a look at this week's astrology, which is the first week of Mercury Retrograde. My name is Henry Harrison. Thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it. You can like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. I also have a link in the description if you'd like to listen to my mixtape or you would like to make a contribution. I greatly appreciate it. So we're going to start talking about Mercury Retrograde, which begins for this Friday. I'm recording this on Thursday. I've got some good times to do that, I think. So we're going to try to talk about just this week. It's mostly stuff with the moon this week, but I'd like to show you last year's Mercury Retrograde. So last year there was a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. It was a somewhat memorable time, I guess. It was in late January. Mercury station retrograde in Aquarius, and then we had this Aquarius pile up with a new moon in Aquarius there, and the Cazimi was in Aquarius. So we had a Mercury retrograde Cazimi in Aquarius last year, but this year is slightly different. So just wanted you to see that there. Mercury stationed direct pretty much in between Saturn and Jupiter. And it was, we had just had Saturn and Jupiter ingress into Aquarius, not to return to Capricorn, so it was quite a pivotal moment. And in this area of your life, because we had this huge pileup, this totally new thing was coming about, and Mercury retrograded over some of that, and now Mercury is stationing. We'll get to that. Yeah, now Mercury is stationing at 10 degrees Aquarius, so Mercury is actually going to retrograde over the first decade of Aquarius, and be Cazimi in Capricorn actually. So you can see that Mercury. Am I wrong about that? I am wrong about that. So the Cazimi is in Aquarius. Sorry about that. But Mercury will go back into Capricorn and station direct with Pluto at the beginning of February. So we only have a few weeks of the rest of this retrograde intensity. And another thing to note is that there aren't any planets in Mercury-ruled signs, Gemini and Virgo. So all we'll have are this moon that we're currently in right now. Let's see. So this moon here, the Virgo moon, and that's it. There's no other planets in Mercury-ruled signs. So I don't think it will be as problematic as it could have potentially been in that respect. That's mostly all I wanted to say about that. Okay, so coming back to now. So we have, we haven't mentioned it yet, we have a full moon in Cancer, which will be on Sunday. No, it's on Monday afternoon. And that's really the major aspect of this week. The moon does make aspects to Mercury retrograde when it's in Leo. But that's really it. The sun goes into Aquarius. Nothing too major. So we start out the week with the sun on top of Pluto, and the moon in the sextile to Uranus just before that. So the moon is in Cancer, applying to Venus. Saturday was probably a pretty good day for a lot of people. The sun will be on top of Pluto, you know, putting a lot of light on things that need to come to light. Pluto really drags things into the light, makes them more available for being seen. I think this is like more of one of those significations. It can also be like untoward situations, or otherwise like shady, seedy kind of situations. With Pluto, but I mean, it's also kind of like a cynicism about the world, or how corrupt this world is. So really putting a lot of light on that. I mean, the sun is the government, so like the administration of the government, the leaders of the government. So, I mean, this happens every year. We're having Pluto return this year. Not something I really know anything about. So, but we'll probably see something about that on Sunday. But, okay. So the moon will be in Cancer opposing Venus retrograde. So, the moon in Cancer, trying to be comfortable, trying to enjoy, not like the moon in Taurus, but a sense of easiness, or like quickness, like things sort of like are easy to like initiate with the moon in Cancer here, I would say. But I think we're aware of like in ways that we're not comfortable, or we're not I guess not getting what we want, or kind of like seeing what we want on the other side. But I think it's like continuing with this nostalgic sort of thing with the moon and Neptune there. Let me just say, I haven't been able to really think about the mundane astrology very much. I just haven't had the mental energy or the desire to really think about it. But we do know that Venus is in the 12th house for the eastern half of the United States, and she's in the first house of the western half. So, Venus in the 12th house, that really, in retrograde, that really indicates like isolation. So, I think if you have been like extra alone, or anything else that kind of goes along with that 12th house stuff, I think it will be turning around, and we are sort of seeing that with like rose-colored glasses in this strange way. Yeah, okay. That's that. Mercury is retrograde in this chart, is not in an aspect to the moon. So I think we kind of like, I don't know, set that aside. I mean, it's still kind of going on. Mercury's really slow, but we're not really facing that like we will be on the next couple days. So as we go into Monday, we have the full moon. The moon opposes Pluto. So the full moon with the moon opposing Pluto. Probably a little extra intense for a lot of people. It's applying this aspect to the nodes, which are pretty decidedly in the next sign now. Yeah, I mean, this could be like really getting a wash in your feelings, and really needing to feel safe. Pluto can also indicate like the things you do to feel safe, or like with the Pluto Moon contact, especially with the Moon in Cancer, probably wanting to feel that sense of security and comfort, and it being an anxiety if we don't, to any degree that we don't. So, it doesn't last that long. I think that aspect is just kind of the afternoon, but kind of uncomfortable. Don't know what to say about that. It's the full moon. There's a lot of light on this part of the chart. Pretty hectic seeing that we have two retrograde inner planets, and Mars is squaring Neptune and squaring Pisces in general. And Jupiter is in new degrees as well. That was brought to my attention. I didn't realize that. Jupiter's in new degrees, and Saturn, I think, is also in a new degree now, or they've both left the shadow. So things are really moving ahead with Jupiter and Saturn things now. So as we go into the moon in Leo, the moon will be still pretty full. It's opposing Mercury. I think it's the first thing. Yeah, so on Tuesday, going into Tuesday, Uranus stations direct, and then the moon opposes Mercury retrograde and squares Uranus. So that's something that happens pretty dramatically. I mean, since Mercury is so slow and now moving in a strange pattern, he's not like moving like a direct across the ecliptic, he's not direct through the zodiac. He's making a strange shape, beginning to it's a very dramatic, unexpected change, and definitely not financial advice. But there will be some kind of turn with things there. It definitely looks like a big pivot moment there. We should mention that the sun is in the trine to the north node, so that means that there are exactly 120 days about until we have the next eclipse series, right? So we're solidly out of the last eclipse season, but there's like some stirring energy, stirring the pot up energy in that respect too there. And the moon in Leo definitely wants to be bold, be expressive, be creative, and enjoy that. And I think that is definitely available on Tuesday, because the moon is applying to Mercury. But throughout the rest of the day, I think things do take a colder turn with the moon opposing Saturn late into the evening, with still a lot of light on it. Next month we'll have that full moon in Aquarius with the sun on top of Saturn, kind of, or co-present with Saturn. Let's take a look at that chart real fast. Or maybe is that even... We don't really get that. The sun pretty much clears Saturn by that time, and then we're almost into Pisces season by then, which is pretty cool. But anyway, we won't belabor that one. But so we go into Wednesday, and the only aspect is the moon opposing Saturn in the very early AM, and so the moon will be applying to the trine to Mars all day. Actually, pretty wide orb there with Mars. So the sun goes into Aquarius, and we have a Sun, Mercury, Saturn co-presence. And I wish I could say that I actually thought about what that means. But, the sun's come off of that conjunction to Pluto, off of that trine to the north node, pretty frantic energy, I think, for a Saturn ruled energy. Um, so I mean, the Mercury retrograde stuff really kicks in right here, and so the moon goes into Virgo. Well, before we talk about that, the moon, you know, pretty much the rest of this day is just applying that trine to Mars. Not very closely, but I mean, it is pretty good. It's pretty hot, pretty fiery. The sun is in its exile, or about to be. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to read any more into that. But it is kind of good for like trying to get anything done, especially for you night folks. But I mean, it's just kind of an empty day where things. It's just kind of one of those days. It's one of those days. Um, so the moon makes that trine to Mars, and then squares the nodes. So we got this first try of this moon square the mean nodes out of Leo. So it's a pretty heavy energy. I think if you have any Leo placements or fixed sign placements, it'll be a pretty heavy moment. I think energetically. But the moon will go into Virgo, and let's see, the moon will be in Aquarius. I don't really know what to say about the sun in Aquarius, which is weird if you know me. But yeah, I mean, the sun in Aquarius is kind of like, I don't know. It's like eccentric, but kind of like basic, too. I don't know. I don't want to talk about the sun in Aquarius, but the moon will go into Virgo there, and immediately oppose Jupiter in his own sign. So Jupiter really strong, but Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. Um, Sorry, I'm flipping around here. The moon. I think the Jupiter here is probably he's like trying to tie things together. He's trying to like make like a universal plan. Well, or like Jupiter's on his own trip here, which is working out fine for Jupiter. But the moon here is with Mercury retrograde, or being ruled by Mercury retrograde, under the beams, applying to the sun, co-present with the sun. So I think there's a sense of like trying to like find a sense of actuarial exactness, but I mean, you gotta kind of go with the flow, and that's like sort of uncomfortable. I think, um, but not bad. I mean, there's nothing really bad about this chart except that it's like, it's you know, I don't know. It's definitely a different way of going about things with the Mercury retrograde for sure. And we'll leave it at that. So as we go through the rest of, so getting to Friday, the moon will be trining Uranus and trine to Venus retrograde, then opposing Neptune. So on Friday, Venus's day, the moon will be in Mercury's sign still. So there's something really profound about this. When Venus went into shadow, she was pretty much on this trine to Uranus, so she's like building up that trine. Um, I think it calls back to that time. When was that? Sorry, go back. When was that? Okay, Venus went into shadow at the end of November. So think back to the last couple weeks in November. It's really a callback for sure. Okay, and now we're at January 22nd. Okay, so January 20th. Okay, 21st. Mercury and Venus do agree about a lot of things. Um, I don't I don't know my triplicities well enough to tell you if Venus has triplicity in the Earth signs at night. That sounds right. Um, so I mean, there's a good. It feels good. It's a good moment. It's a good time. It's different though, and it's related to the Saturn Uranus square stuff because that's what Uranus is about right now. So it's like technological as far as that can go. Um, it could also like be like turning off your devices and just like doing something like totally different and unexpected, which could be pretty cool. Just kind of mystically going into it. The moon is like being opposed by Pisces, um, Jupiter, and Neptune, so definitely getting extra mystical here. Sorry, my leg fell asleep. That's painful. Sorry. All right. So the moon will be trining Pluto on Saturday morning, which I think feels good. I think trining the nodes feels exciting. I think squaring Mars is kind of not great. So I mean, like, there might be like some uncomfortable stuff that happens like on Friday night into Saturday that's like not not awesome. I definitely see the Mars Neptune thing as being related to the virus, transmissibility and like permissibility and like unknowns and confusion. So there's like that kind of weird stuff going on. But the moon is void, of course, off of Mars, which is not good off that square. So that those hours there feel pretty intense, or if you're a night person, like you're just pressing through that. Good for you. Um, and then the moon will enter Libra and make a trine to the Sun and make a trine to Mercury. So it's kind of like the other side of the coin of Friday and Saturday. So there's some very interesting stuff going on with the Mercury Venus thing this few days. Pretty artful, I think, or you know, that might be like a me thing, but like Mercury Venus is like definitely art or film or writing or drawing, especially with this like Neptune and Jupiter stuff. Definitely look out for that instead of like aggressively driving. There's something like that probably advisable. So like Saturday night looks fun, looks social, looks like a good energy. Looks kind of eccentric with the Sun of Aquarius. Definitely like outcast loner energy vibes. And that's the day before the Mercury Cazimi. So we got this good light on the moon during the Mercury Cazimi. It looks very pivotal. It looks like it makes the difference. It changes things. And then next week we have Mars go into Capricorn and Mercury into Capricorn. So we have Mercury Mars co-presence all of a sudden next week for a long time, for a while. And we're going to talk about that next week. So I hope you all have a good week. I hope last week was tolerable, manageable for you. I hope you're well. Hope you get enough exercise out there, drink enough water, and hope you get to see some people out there. So God bless you, and I'll be hearing from you later. So peace in Jesus' name. Amen.